Greetings, Pencrest High School biology students. Mr. Dell here, and today we're going to talk about cell division or the process of mitosis. There's a fair amount of vocabulary that goes with this. It might be a good idea to take a look at Quizlet, where we have these terms all down for you just to kind of make sure that you understand all the terms that we're talking about. So, big questions to start off. Why do cells divide? Well, cells get bigger and bigger and bigger. And remember, if you remember from our earlier unit this year, cells, if they have too big of a surface to volume ratio, it makes it difficult for them to get rid of toxins. It also makes it difficult for them to take in enough glucose to produce energy to actually run the cell. Also, too, remember that it's a war out there, kids, and lots of times your cells die, and those cells need to be replaced. There needs to be other soldiers to replace those cells. So you can think about cells in your body that die fairly quickly, skin cells being one of them, which then brings us to our next slide, which talks a little bit about when do cells divide. And this is where things get a little bit weird, because some cells, like your skin cells, are dividing all the time. Then you have things like red blood cells. They divide every 3 months or so. And then you also have some cells that either won't divide or they divide very, very slowly. And those are your nerve cells or neurons. So you can think about that. Think about something like a spinal cord injury. When those neurons get destroyed, they don't get replaced, and that's how you can have things like paralysis. But we're going to focus on the cells that do divide, because it does happen to lots and lots of your cells inside of your body. So we'll talk about how the cells divide, and specifically how the chromosomes move around when your cells divide. So what type of cells divide rapidly? As I mentioned, your skin cells. Neurons are classic examples of cells that divide very rarely or don't divide at all. And also, ladies, ovaries, egg cells, they do not divide as well. So the egg cells that you have in you, you have for the rest of your life. All right, so here we go. The cell cycle. Again, lots of vocabulary in here. And I'll try to just detail the vocabulary words and what's actually happening inside the cell. So if you look at the cell here, you can see this whole big blue arrow going all the way around the cell. That's the part of the cell cycle where the cell is actively growing. Okay, it's called interphase. And in interphase, you can have this G1. The G stands for growth. You could also call it a gap 1. Some scientists will call it that. And that G1 is when the cytoplasm, the cell just increases its cytoplasm. This S phase is when the DNA replicates itself. We've already done that in biology. You might remember helicase and DNA polymerase in 5' to 3'. That's when the DNA actually replicates itself. G2 phase, again, the cell's just actively growing. That's when the cell is going to make additional organelles as the cell prepares to divide. Then this small portion of the cell cycle, mitosis, is when the nucleus of the cell divides. Cytokinesis is when the cytoplasm of the cell divides. This is a classic biology question. In what part of the cell cycle does the cell spend most of its life? It spends most of its life growing, and that is in interphase. Before we start with mitosis, you should know that prokaryotic cells, bacteria cells, they also divide, and they divide very, very quickly, and you can think why. They just don't have as many structures in them as eukaryotic cells. So prokaryotic cells, if you look at that center cell there, that green cell in the middle, you can see it has one circular chromosome. That DNA replicates, the cytoplasm increases, and then the cell just splits apart. It's called binary fission. We bring this up just to let you know that not all cells on Earth divide the same way. Bacteria cells actually divide in a way that is different than your own cells. When your own cells divide, that is called mitosis. Whoops, we'll go back here. And mitosis is when you have one cell that splits into two identical cells. Okay? They are exact copies of one another. And these are the stages of mitosis. Okay? Interphase is not part of mitosis. Okay? But then we have these 4 phases: prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase. And yes, we're going to ask you to know what's happening in each stage, and we're going to ask you to know the order. Let's get the order done first. Okay, here's a good way to remember it. P, Matt. Okay, P for prophase, M for metaphase, A for anaphase, T for telophase. Okay, PMAT. That's how you remember the stages for the of mitosis. Cytokinesis is essentially the very last portion of this where the cytoplasm actually divides. This picture here actually details the different steps of mitosis, but we got some more detailed pictures for you that you can actually see what's going on. Okay, so here's a cell in interphase. You can see that's the nucleus of the cell. That string inside of there, that is chromatin, that is uncondensed DNA. Now as we go through mitosis, our first stage is going to be prophase. And in prophase, the chromatin is going to condense into chromosomes by winding around those histone proteins. The nuclear membrane is going to break down, and then you can see those little strings that are being formed there. Those are called spindle fibers. They're ropes that essentially help move the chromosomes around the cell. At the top and the bottom of the cell, you can see those two little logs there. They look like maybe little Lincoln logs if you remember from our cells unit. Those are centrioles. When the spindle fiber attaches to the centriole, it's called a centrosome. But essentially, those spindle fibers are going to be used to move the chromosomes around the cell. Where do the chromosomes move? Good question. So this is where they move. In metaphase, the spindle fibers align the chromosomes right in the middle of the cell. So a good way to remember it is chromosomes meet in the middle in metaphase. And you can see this is 4 chromosomes lined up in the middle of the cell. If you're wondering to yourself, hey, how come there's not 46 chromosomes there? Well, that would be correct if it was a human cell, but I think they just use 4 chromosomes here to kind of make it easy for you to understand. Okay, so now we have all the chromosomes lined up in the middle of the cell. After that comes anaphase, and this is probably the biggest portion of the cell cycle that kids get confused. In anaphase, the chromosomes split into chromatids, and you can see them splitting apart. That is, the spindle fibers rip them apart. The important thing to know is that remember, this chromatid and this chromatid have exactly the same information, the same genetic information. So the cell is not losing any genetic information. You can see that this is eventually going to become a cell and this is eventually going to become a cell, because this chromatid and this chromatid are copies of one another, just like this chromatid and this chromatid are copies of one another. Each cell gets exactly the same DNA. Okay, so there is no loss of DNA when the cell actually goes to divide, because these are replicated chromosomes, and essentially what's happening is they're being split so that this gets a copy and then this gets a copy of each chromatid. During interphase, when the cell replicates its DNA, then it will go back to those X's that you saw at the very beginning of mitosis. In telophase, 2 nuclei are going to be formed. The chromatids have now arrived at the opposite ends of the cell. We don't need to move them around anymore. So the spindle fibers, or the ropes, they break down, the centrioles leave, and we end up left with 2 cells with exactly the same DNA. That is telophase. Those are the big stages in mitosis. Remember, PMAT, prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase. After that, after the nuclei divide, we are now going to split the cytoplasm, and that's called cytokinesis. Okay? Big fancy word for essentially just splitting the cytoplasm. Yes, I'm well aware that somebody's chuckling out there at the cleavage furrow that you see in an animal cell. Just a shout out to environmental science. For those of you who remember, in environmental science, the word cleavage was used as well. I think it was used to describe like the direction in which like a rock or a mineral like breaks. But in biology, we're just describing that pinching in of the plasma membrane right before the cell divides in cytokinesis. Plant cells have a stiff cell wall, so they do not pinch in. What they do is they form a cell plate. It's like a spot welding of little proteins that make a cell plate that will eventually form the cell wall, and that will delineate the 2 plant cells. Okay, for those of you guys who don't like the animation and want to see the real thing, this is actually an onion cell. If you look at the first 2 cells here, I would consider both of these prophase. We're not going to differentiate into pro-metaphase. But if you look at that cell there, you can see there's the chromatin condensing into the chromosomes. Okay, that's the nucleolus, just for fun. But you can see the nucleus is starting to break down. Metaphase, the chromosomes are lined up in the middle of the cell. Anaphase, the chromatids split apart from one another. I think you can actually see the spindle fibers there. Telophase, they arrive at opposite ends of the cell. You can see the formation of the cell plate. Eventually, these spindle fibers will disappear, and you get two cells with exactly the same genetic information. If you wanted to see it in an animal cell, again, I think I would consider this cell in prophase. The chromatin condenses into these X's, which are chromosomes. You can see the spindle fibers and the centrioles. Okay, in metaphase, they line up in the middle of the cell. In anaphase, the chromatids split apart. Again, this chromatid and this chromatid, the exact same information. Great view of the spindle fibers there. And the centrosome, which is the spindle fibers attached to the centriole. Telophase and cytokinesis, you can see the cleavage furrow. You can see that the spindle fibers are no longer needed. You can also see the DNA is decondensing because it's going to go back into chromatin. The nucleus will reappear, and then you have two cells that are exact copies of one another. Another picture of the difference between plant and animal cells. Plant cells, you can see again that cleavage furrow, the pinching in, whereas, did I say in animal cells you see that pinching in? In plant cells you see the formation of that cell plate, which will eventually produce two identical cells. So I think that does delineate the difference between plant cells and animal cells when it comes to cytokinesis. Well, you made it through. Interphase, prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase, cytokinesis. That's the whole life cycle of a cell, and we'll see you on the other side. Thanks for listening.